Hey everybody, Blaine here for Bridge 4 Games. If you're a Marvel fan like me, last weekend you definitely went and saw Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the newest Marvel movie. It was a really cool film because it's a very big departure from what we're used to. Rather than being just your normal superhero movie, it really came across as more of a magical kung fu epic. Now, after I saw the movie, I went online to see what some other people were thinking about it. And what didn't catch my eye was the cool reviews that it had. What caught my eye was the article that said a ton of viewers thought they saw Pokemon in the Shang-Chi universe. So, what's going on? I hate to burst all of your bubbles, but the animals we saw in Shang-Chi weren't Pokemon. They were, however, creatures that were inspired by Chinese legends and Chinese myths. Well, as we all know, Pokemon have a ton of amazing and incredible inspirations behind them that draw from a lot of different cultures and a lot of different sources. So, that being said, what we're going to do today is take a look at all the animals that people thought were Pokemon, see why they were thinking this, and see what their real world inspirations are, and how that ties to the Shang-Chi movie. So, let's get started. But first, I want to take a second to ask that if you like the content we produce here on the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps more than you could possibly imagine, and every single like, every single share helps us grow as a channel and allows us to keep making videos like these. Alright, let's get back to the video. Number 1, the Huliching. Apologies everybody if I messed up the names. My Chinese is not anything to be envied. That being said, when people went and saw Shang-Chi, they could have sworn that they saw Ninetales in several of the scenes. So what's going on? Well, as we know, Ninetales has a lot of inspirations. Now, Ninetales primarily draws from the Japanese kitsune, which is a magical fox that can breathe fire and has 9 tails, and lives an extremely long lifespan, giving magic to humans. Now, there is also a very similar creature within Chinese mythology, known as a Huliching. Now, this creature is more of a spirit. It can be a good spirit or a bad spirit that typically resembles a fox with 9 tails. They do, however, have shape-shifting abilities that help to add to their mysticism. Now, obviously, the genuine games, the games that Ninetales is originally from, are based on Japan and use a lot of Japanese mythology and culture in them to create their Pokemon. So, obviously, Ninetales is going to borrow a little bit more from the Kitsune than the Huliching. That being said, many Asian legends and myths are very similar to other ones that can be found throughout Asia. Chinese myths do bear some similarity to Japanese myths, as well as Korean myths and Taiwanese myths. So obviously the Kitsune is the larger inspiration for Ninetales, but there is no denying the similarities between the Huliching and our favorite Ninetales Pokemon, Ninetales. Number 2, the Fanghuang. Now this one's a bit of a 2-for-1 deal. So in the same area where people saw the Huliching, cinemagoers also saw a bird on fire flying over the same area. So what is this? It had to be a phoenix, right? That's what us Western cinemagoers would think. Well, actually it's not. So even though we look at a fiery bird and think it has to be a phoenix, a flaming bird that will eventually explode, turn into ash, and have a new baby phoenix come from it, a Fanghuang is a completely different animal in mythology. It's actually considered to be the king of all birds and the ruler of all the birds in the world. It's considered to be a very important representation of Chinese mythology and often replaces the rooster on the Chinese zodiac. Now, obviously, Moltres and Ho-Oh draw quite a bit of inspiration from Western phoenixes. That being said, one different pronunciation of the Fanghuang is actually called Ho-Oh, so obviously the connection there is undeniable. And given that Moltres is also a flaming bird, it has an amazing amount of connections to the Fanghuang as well. So even though both of these Pokemon came from Japan, their connections to this creature that appeared in the Shang-Chi movie are undeniable. Number 3, Chinese dragons. Now, no movie featuring Chinese mythological creatures would be complete without dragons, and Shang-Chi does not disappoint. Now, the depictions of dragons in Shang-Chi show a dragon underwater as well as a dragon flying through the sky. The connections that this brings to Gyarados are undeniable. Now, Gyarados is not only based on Chinese dragons, it's also based on Chinese kites that have a dragon-like pattern to them. This explains why Gyarados fits for both a water Pokemon and a flying Pokemon as well, and also is a canonical reason why in battle Gyarados just kind of floats in the air. It's a kite, so it's meant to. Now, obviously, when you're in a movie theater and you're underwater, if you happen to be a fan of Pokemon and see a giant monster coming at you with a monstrous face, anybody would think it's Gyarados. I mean, I probably would. So it's no wonder why people thought that this was a Pokemon. That being said, it's not a Pokemon. It's just a very important mythological dragon in Chinese culture. Now, obviously, Gyarados is more directly linked to this creature than some of the other Pokemon that we're going to be talking about. And because of that, people thinking it was a Pokemon makes a ton of sense. After all, Gyarados is based on it. Number 4, the Tsilin. It worked out pretty well that the last creature we're going to be talking about is also the last one that showed up in the Shang-Chi movie. Now, in the movie, they describe it as some kind of a weird horse-deer thing that has dragon elements and also some horns and things like that. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Well, if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you're going to know that last week I actually released a video about Arceus. And it turns out that Arceus is the Pokemon equivalent of this creature. Now, a Sealin is a mythological Chinese creature that is a combination of a bunch of different animals. It's kind of a complicated thing to go into, so I'm actually just going to link the Arceus video for you right here. But to summarize it for you, Arceus is actually based on a Sealin, a mythological animal from Chinese culture that is meant to represent the passing or creation of a very powerful ruler or deity. Now, Arceus looks the way it does because it's kind of difficult to bring together all the interpretations of the Sealin and combine it into just one Pokemon. That being said, it is incredible that the god of the Pokemon universe, a Pokemon that was inspired by a mythological Chinese creature, actually had its origin appear in this brand new Marvel movie. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed my list, and now it clears up why some people thought they saw Pokemon in the Shang-Chi movie. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about a Marvel movie on the channel because usually we're so focused on Pokemon, we don't really have the option to. That being said, it was really awesome to see how these Chinese cultures and traditions have been interpreted in different ways and appeared in both the Shang-Chi movie and also appeared as Pokemon. It really just goes to show that so many aspects of our life have roots in many ancient traditions, some of which we aren't even aware of. So that being said, I've been Blaine for Bridge4 Games. Go see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in theaters now because it is a very fun movie and you're going to have a really good time. And heck, you might even see some pseudo-Pokemon along the way. So that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye!